Hi all, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we have one of the most eye-opening conversations in all the Horus Heresy. A rare glimpse into the relationship between the Emperor and Malcador, and their opinion on certain Primarchs. It's a very short conversation, but its implications and insights are huge. So, spoiler warning to begin with, today we are covering events from the Horus Heresy novel Vengeful Spirit, and as always I really recommend you read the novel for yourself first, as that's how you get the most enjoyment out of the lore, by experiencing it for yourself. But not only that, we help to support the great Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them we don't have all this great lore to enjoy and talk about. This novel is a very good read and covers some very notable points of the heresy, so I really do recommend checking this one out. But with that said, let's crack on. So this is set during the heresy, as I said, and Leman Russ has informed Malcador of his intent to leave Terra to go and face his traitor brother Horus. That has not yet happened. The fight between Russ and Horus has not yet taken place. The repository was cool, and the air kept at a constant relative humidity and temperature. The more fragile artifacts stored here were hermetically sealed in stasis fields, and Malcador tested the tang of the recessed power generators. Crystal-fronted cabinets lit up at his passing, but he spared their contents little notice. A book that had once plunged the world into war, sketches by the polymath Ferenza the Emperor had wisely, it turned out, deemed too dangerous for Perturabo to see, the half-formed sculpture of beauty incarnate. Malcador had lied when he had told young Khalid Hassan that these rough-formed walls were all that remained of the Sigillite fortress, but some truths were uncomfortable enough without burdening others with them. The chamber was smaller than those that surrounding it, and it took Malcador a moment to reach the steel of Jupiter. It sat on a reinforced timber cradle, the black gloss of its original construction undimmed by the passage of millennia. Lives had been lost to retrieve this fragment of humanity's soul, as was the case with many objects stored here. Malcador closed his eyes and placed his fingertips upon the cold surface of the stone. Granodiorite, an igneous rock similar to granite, hard-wearing but not indestructible. Given what it had unlocked in ages past, there was a pleasing symmetry to what it now allowed him to do. Malcador's breathing slowed, and the already cooled air chilled further. "My lord," he said. Silence was Malcador's only answer, and he feared the holocaust raging beneath the palace was too fierce, too all-consuming for a reply. Beneath wasn't strictly speaking correct, but it was the only preposition that seemed to fit. Malcador, the Emperor's voice echoed within his mind, stentorian and dominant, yet familiar and fraternal. Malcador felt its power, even over so immeasurable a distance, but also the effort it was taking to forge the link. "How goes the fight?" "We bleed out every day, while the demons grow ever stronger. I do not have much time, my friend. War calls." "Leman Russ is on Terra," said Malcador. "I know. Even here I can feel the Wolf King's presence." So straight away, points worth discussing here. Firstly, for all the rumours and theories regarding Malcador and the Emperor, is Malcador the Emperor? Is he forced into serving him? It's very clear here, they are friends. "I do not have much time, my friend. War calls." This is a private one-to-one psychic conversation that is taking immense effort by the both of them to have. There is no need for politeness or niceties. The Emperor calls him friend because that's truly what he is. The Emperor's best and only friend. And then of course Russ on Terra, and the Emperor feeling his presence. Now, as much as I would like to say, well, of course it's Russ, It's more than that. He's a Primarch. The Emperor can feel the presence of his sons, even over so immeasurable a distance. He brings word of the Lion. 20,000 Dark Angels are reportedly bound for Ultramar. Why does he not make haste for Terra? Sweat ran down Malcador's back at the strain of maintaining this connection. There are unsettling rumours of what is happening in Guilliman's domain. I cannot see the 500 worlds. Why is that? We call it the Ruin Storm. Nemo and I believe the slaughter on Calf to have been part of an orchestrated chain of events that precipitated the birth of a catastrophic and impenetrable warp storm. And what do you believe Rabute is doing? It's Guilliman. What do you think he's doing? He's building an empire. And the Lion goes to stop him? And here, the much famed Guilliman conversation. I've seen a lot of this discussed online, that the Emperor mistrusted Guilliman, that he believed him traitor, and I have to say, I don't read it that way at all. If anything, Malcador is the one seeming a little doubtful surrounding the rumours that have reached Terra. Unsettling rumours of what is happening in Guilliman's domain. The Emperor, for his part, he still calls him Rabute, rather than Guilliman, or, a number, or a tool. He doesn't seem too fazed by this. He doesn't seem too worried about Guilliman's loyalty. And you can only assume it's because he doesn't think Guilliman would turn. If he did, then his concern should be much more evident. Guilliman does possess the largest legion at his command after all. No, to me, the Emperor doesn't seem too concerned at all. Sorry to all the Papa Smurf haters out there, but it really doesn't read like that to me. Guilliman was made to create and build systems. He's doing exactly what he was made for. He even seems a little surprised the Lion is going to stop him. And no, it's not because he doubts the Lion, as we will see. And then we have the fact that the Emperor merely tried to see the 500 worlds. He's literally the other side of the galaxy, engaged in an insane war with half his power constantly being used to guide the Astronomicon, hold together the Webway portal for the Imperial forces, trying to fight back the tides of demons. And oh yeah, I'll just have a peek across the galaxy to see what Rabute is having for lunch. I mean, man, the Emperor's power is insane, and I love it. I love the moments of seeing the Emperor's true power. Really enjoyed it, even though it was a throwaway line. I love the fact that he just tried to look across the galaxy to Ultramar. And normally, that's something he'd be able to do. So the Wolf King says, my lord, it seems the warriors of the Lion stand with us after all. You doubted them? The first? Even after all they accomplished in the time before the others took up their swords? I did, admitted Malcador. After Rogal's secret emissaries to their homeworld returned empty-handed, we feared the worst. But Caliban's angels came to the wolves' aid when Alfarius threatened to destroy them. And there we have clear evidence of the Emperor's faith in the Dark Angels and the Lion. You doubted them. The first? Even after all they accomplished in the time before the others took up their swords. For all the traitor claims laid at the doors of the Dark Angels in the current timeline, and maybe rightly so the way the current storyline seemed to be taking them, it's clear here the Emperor had no such doubt in the first. The Lion and his Dark Angels were and would remain loyal to him. Alfarius, my son, what chance did you give my dream? Even when war presses in from all sides, my sons still seek to press their advantage. They are like the feudal lords of old, scenting opportunity for their own advancement in the fires of adversity. The regret pained Malcador's thoughts. Russ still plans to fight Horus eye to eye, said Malcador. He sends my knights to guide his blade, and no words of mine can sway him from his course. You think he should not fight Horus? Russ is your executioner, said Malcador tactfully. But his axe falls a little too readily these days. Magnus felt it. Now Horus will feel it. 2 rebel angels, his axe falls on those deserving its smile. And what happens when Russ takes it upon himself to decide who is loyal and who deserves execution? Russ is true-hearted, one of the few I know will never fall. Wow, man, I told you, this conversation is so filled with awesome talking points. Alfarius, the Emperor showing some sadness when reflecting on Alfarius there. Alfarius, my son, what chance did you give my dream? The regret paining Malcador's thoughts. Alfarius has betrayed the Emperor, turned against him, and still he calls him my son. It's moments like this that give me hope for the final confrontation against Horus. As I've said before, I have a huge fear of a retcon of some sorts, but here, the human emotion of the Emperor, his sadness, his regret, gives me hope the Emperor-Horus confrontation will go more or less as we expect, with him having to fight his emotions when facing his favoured son. And of course Russ. The Emperor clearly favours Russ in this conversation, and why wouldn't he, of course? If the Emperor were to name his top 5 sons, you'd have to expect Russ to be in there, judging from the feel of these statements. 2 rebel angels, his axe falls on those deserving its smile. And when Malcador worries about Russ taking the decision into his own hands, the Emperor merely waves away their concerns. Russ is true-hearted, one of the few I know will never fall. I know will never fall. From the Emperor himself. Even now, when Horus has betrayed him, first amongst the Primarchs, the Emperor knows Russ will never fall. That's a really powerful statement of support there. But who else do you think one of the few I know will never fall? So there's a few. Could say maybe the Lion, judging by the earlier statements in this conversation. But who else? Sanguinius, Dawn, Korax, Vulcan, Guilliman. Interesting to ponder, definitely interesting to think about. You suspect others may prove false? To my eternal regret, I do. Who? Another long pause made Malcador fear his question would remain unanswered, but at last the Emperor replied. The Khan makes a virtue of being unknowable, of being the mystery that none can answer. Some among his legion have already embraced treachery, and others may yet. What would you have me do, my lord? Keep watching him, Malcador. Watch the Khan more closely than any other. Wow, what a bombshell to end it on there. The Emperor taking a long pause before he answered Malcador, almost not wishing to say the words, not wishing to give light to his doubts. Very human of him there. The Emperor's humanity comes across in this interaction very strongly, for all its flaws and strengths. It's really an honest conversation between friends, and maybe that's why the humanity shows across so strongly, but just discussing their thoughts and feelings. It truly is one of the best pieces of lore throughout the Heresy series. Little glimpses like this give us more than whole novels of battles and war. The Emperor essentially saying, I don't know the Khan, but he does know some White Scars have turned with the War Master. But he doesn't want Malcador to act. Just keep an eye out. Just watch him the closest. Really interesting when it turns out that the Khan was one of the loyal Primarchs on the very walls of Terror, venting his fury against the traitors. I hope we get some form of conversation between the Emperor and Jagatai before the end. Either before he teleports aboard the Vengeful Spirit, or his final words before being interned upon the Golden Throne. But I think a thank you, my son, to Jagatai, or even just calling him my son and truly meaning it for probably the first time, would be a really powerful moment between the two characters. That really would. But what did you guys think of this conversation? Yes, it's short, but wow, it's good. What more could we ask for than a glimpse of a Malcador and Emperor conversation? two of the greatest characters in all of the lore. Malcador clearly feeling the stress of the heresy here, worrying for the future, worrying about rumours that he's hearing. But as far as the Emperor is concerned, well, Russ and the Lion never doubted, not seeming too concerned by the rumours coming from Ultramar of Guilliman, but he himself worrying that what about the Khan might do. And really interesting there that it's because he just doesn't know. The Emperor, who has been around for so long, always working towards his goal, always focused on his plan, knowing where he's going, simply doesn't know what the Khan might do. And as any human does in that situation, you start to doubt. Really great writing by Graham McNeill here, really good. As always guys, leave me your thoughts and opinions down below. Let's get the discussion going as usual. Who do you think the Emperor meant about the few who will never fall? And his sadness over Alfarius? So many great talking points here. As always, a huge thank you to all of my subscribers. Your support really means a lot to me and I truly appreciate it. If you're new, then please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off and I'll see you guys again real soon.